This is a quick story of my life. I was born in the late 1950s, and my parents had a very successful marriage. My father was a doctor and a surgeon, and my mother was a dedicated housewife. I'm the eldest of 5 boys, and so I went to school. I wasn't at the top of the class. I wasn't at the bottom of the class. I was somewhere in the middle, and I was always very quiet. But I was useless at games until I discovered swimming. So I poured everything that I had, all my energy and so forth, into swimming during my teens, and I got an awful lot out of it in terms of health and strength and physique, so on and so forth. And then I went on. My education, my college education specialized in marketing, and I went on to work in market research. And I had a couple of traumatic events along the way, but the first one was that I got fired from a job when I was only about 21 or 22, and I was so ashamed to go home and tell my parents that I cobbled up some kind of a lie, and I went home and told them that I'm going to travel the world, and I went to Germany, where I stayed for 5 years, and there I learned the language, and I had a great time in Germany, working in different jobs, so on and so forth. And after Germany, then I went on to London, where an old school friend, a childhood friend from the same street, had been on to me for years to join him in the insurance business. So I went and I worked in the insurance business in London, a few other things over the next 10 years. And then about 30 years ago, about 30 years ago anyway, I came back to Ireland and I worked in the area of real estate. My brother was an auctioneer, real estate agent here in Ireland. I worked with him. And they used to say that my brother dealt from the top down and I dealt from the bottom up. So I did that. And then I landed a position with the National Mapping Agency here in Ireland, Ordnance Survey, as a supplier of maps into the whole planning and the construction industry. And I had a magnificent, very profitable 10 years in that, which all imploded and crashed in about 2008. At the same time, my marriage broke down at that time as well, and I went to live with my mother, and I've lived in that house for the last 20 years. My mother died about 8 years ago, and after she died, I ran a very successful Airbnb for some time. I came home from my honeymoon, the locks were changed on the Airbnb, and I've had to start from scratch all over again. And now I'm doing content creation. But I'm happy to report that the outlook is good and the prospects are bright. And thank you very much for listening to my video.